All right, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're synthesizing some truly fascinating source materials to help you make a massive shift in how you live day to day. We're talking about transitioning from being a passive consumer of technology, someone who just reacts to every single ping, buzz, and notification, into the active, intentional architect of your own digital life. It's all about taking the reins back and actually designing a future that feels fulfilling to you. The stakes here? Well, they're pretty wild when you think about it. On one hand, the devices and apps we use every day have the potential to be our absolute greatest allies. They can literally be your best friend when it comes to reaching your dreams, learning new skills, or just connecting with people. But flip the coin, and when these very same tools are left unchecked, without any real intention behind how you use them, they can quickly turn into your worst enemy. They'll just drain your time, your energy, and your focus right out of you. So, to tame these digital magnets, we're going to use a really practical architectural framework today. We'll hit four main steps. 1, the architectural toolbox. 2, drafting your digital blueprint. 3, the art of maintenance. And 4, designing your future. Kicking things off with Section 1, the architectural toolbox. This is all about taking inventory of your digital wellness skills. Think of your toolbox in two distinct parts. First, you have your mindset tools. This includes things like critical media literacy, which is essentially your ability to spot when an app is deliberately trying to manipulate your attention. It also covers how you manage your online identity and your professional digital wellness. That's your internal framework. But an architect needs a hammer too, right? That's where your action tools come in. These are the hard physical boundaries you set, like adding home screen friction so you don't just blindly tap Instagram, firing up app blockers while you work, or doing a full-blown digital detox. Our sources actually emphasize that detoxes are incredibly effective for hitting the reset button on your baseline concentration. And alongside those tools, we've got to keep a few core concepts front and center. Recognizing persuasive design is huge. Once you understand that these apps are psychologically engineered with tricks like infinite scroll to keep you hooked, you can finally start breaking the spell. We also have to actively cultivate deep work and practice digital minimalism. These aren't just trendy buzzwords, they are completely foundational to the next step of our process. Moving right along to Section 2, drafting your digital blueprint, where we synthesize your tools into a personalized, actionable plan. Now, the real secret sauce is right here in this definition. Your digital blueprint has to be highly personalized and actionable. But pay super close attention to this last part. It has to fit your actual life, not some idealized version of yourself. Our sources make this super clear. If you try to design a routine for a digital monk who never looks at a screen, but your actual job is in social media marketing, that plan is going to fail by noon. It's about aligning your everyday reality with your personal values. So, to get this draft going, our sources prompt us to tackle some pretty big questions, starting with the big picture. What are your core values and aspirations? Think about what you actually want out of life. Got it? Okay, now ask yourself, how can your technology tools actively serve those deepest aspirations rather than just pulling you away from them? Next up, we need to get real about our online habits. We all have those unchecked digital magnets that just suck our attention away before we even realize what's happening. Which of these magnets are you going to actively resist or just straight up remove from your life? Naming the distraction is exactly how you strip away its power. Then, think about setting some hard physical and temporal boundaries. What deep work habits are you going to cultivate? And maybe more importantly, what tech-free zones or times are you going to consistently maintain? Maybe your bedroom becomes a strictly no-phone zone, or dinner time is entirely tech-free. The sources highlight that sticking to these boundaries consistently is absolutely critical for protecting your mental well-being. And lastly for this section, ask yourself, how are you going to stay a digital super citizen? This basically just means showing up online with intention, treating people with respect, taking a quick second to fact-check a link before you share it, and staying aligned with those core values we talked about earlier. All right, so once you've tackled those questions, the source material gives us a crystal clear game plan. Step 1, review your toolbox. Step 2, answer the core questions. But Step 3 is the secret ingredient. Focus on just 2 to 3 key changes for maximum impact. Seriously, do not overwhelm yourself by trying to change your entire life overnight. Pick 2 or 3 actionable things. Maybe it's a 30-minute digital detox before bed, and just stick to them. Which brings us perfectly into Section 3, the art of maintenance, nurturing a continuous, adaptive practice. Our second source drops a major truth bomb right here about how we frame our goals. Notice the stark difference between rigid rules and an adaptive practice. Setting super rigid rules usually just means you're chasing that impossible idealized self, and it almost always leads straight to burnout. Instead, you want an adaptive practice. That means continuous reflection and, above all, self-compassion. Look, if you slip up and doom scroll for an hour, you don't just burn the blueprint and give up. You adapt, you give yourself a little grace, and you reset. The bottom line is that digital wellness is definitely not a one-time fix. It's an ongoing journey. Just like you wouldn't go to the gym once and assume you're fit for the rest of your life, managing your tech habits requires regular reflection. You have to continually adjust what's working and what isn't, so you can build up that long-term resilience. Let's bring it all home with Section 4, Designing Your Future, Stepping into a Technology-Enhanced Life. There's this fantastic quote directly from our first source that says, "Your future self will thank you for taking this first step toward a healthier relationship with technology." And it's so true. Taking agency over your digital habits today isn't some sort of punishment. It's a direct, profound investment in your future focus, your well-being, and your overall balance in life. By integrating everything we've talked about, from using home screen friction to practicing genuine self-compassion, you are now fully equipped. The sources urge you to go forth, digital architects. Design a life where technology doesn't constantly distract you, but instead genuinely empowers, enhances, and enriches every single step of your journey. So as we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final provocative thought to chew on. Looking at the framework and the tools we've laid out today, will you remain a passive consumer of whatever the algorithm serves up, or are you going to grab your tools and start drafting your digital blueprint today? The choice is entirely yours.